it's Miss Lynes here. I'm going to read you one of Reception's reading for pleasure stories today, and this is called Otto Blotter, Bird Spotter by Graham Carter. Turtledove was a town much like any other, except for one small difference. It was full of birds and bird spotters. And the most famous spotters were a family named Blotter. The Blotters spent every moment of every day spotting birds. They'd even turn their home into the perfect hide, so they never had to leave it. But young Otto Blotter was not a spotter. He didn't like staying indoors all day. What he liked was to explore. On this particular day, Otto made an extraordinary discovery. That's a huge footprint! And then another. That's the biggest poo I've ever seen! And another. Feathertastic! Then he made the most surprising discovery of all. Hidden in the bushes, all alone, sat the most unusual little bird. Otto wasn't allowed any pets, but he couldn't just leave the little fellow. He scooped up Bird and sneaked him back to his room. Luckily, his family were too busy to notice. The next day, Otto took his feathery friend to all of his favourite exploring spots. And he sneakily fed and bathed him after the rest of his family had gone to bed. But as the days passed, Otto started to notice some big changes. His little friend was not so little anymore, and Otto's secret was becoming too big to hide. Otto knew Bird was going to be discovered any minute. There was nothing more he could do to hide his huge friend. Luckily, Bird didn't like to see Otto upset. He knew this was the moment to show his friend something truly remarkable. Camouflage! Otto was over the moon. Now Bird could disguise himself as anything. It meant they could go anywhere. They could once again visit their favourite spots and go on fabulous adventures. And no one would ever know. Otto and Bird could not have been happier until the day they visited the zoo. As they passed family after family of meerkats, penguins, monkeys and stingrays, Bird seemed to grow sadder and sadder. Otto's thoughts flashed back to the day he first found Bird. The huge footprints, the giant feathers, the massive pile of poo. Suddenly he realised Bird hadn't been alone. Bird had a family. But Otto was going to need help to find them. Luckily, Otto's family were expert bird spotters. Surprise! Look who I found! After recovering from meeting the most majestic bird ever discovered, the whole Blotter family set to work helping Otto come up with a plan. By nightfall, they had made the tallest bird spotting tower ever built. The Blotters were sure they would spot Bird's family in no time now. Everybody keep super still. Be a good fellow and pass my night vision goggles. Oi, can I get down, please? They peered for hours and hours into the still, inky night, but they didn't spot a thing. Don't worry, Bird, said Otto. We will find your family. Fum-ee, fam-ee, family. Then something magical happened. Family, cried Bird. Glowing so brightly he lit up the whole night. In the distance, something began to rustle. Something began to stir. and something began to glow. One by one, 3 even bigger birds came out of the darkness. They'd found them! Otto was really happy that his friend had found his family. But that didn't make it any easier when the time came to say goodbye. The Blotters hoped they would spot him again one day though. After all, they were experts. From that day on, Otto became a top spotter himself. And the rest of the Blotters found that exploring with Otto led to all kinds of amazing discoveries and the odd adventure. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.